Hey! If you don't know me, hi, my name's Iman. You can follow me on Instagram, I'll link it right here. I pretty much post songs and exploit my misery on the daily, but most of the time I grapple with self-loathing. I'm forever led by completely made-up forces that demand I be more, do more, because you know, time is finite after all. But mind you, my mind is also like a pendulum. So when I'm not grappling with self-impeding doom, I also just have elevator music playing in my head as well, so. I live a double life between my current reality and this little side-hoe project, which I call the audacity. As Jordan Peterson once said, you're not everything you could be and you know it. And so out of thin air, I decide I need to become a trillionaire yesterday, and if I don't die of natural causes, it will be mediocrity that ends me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If at this point you seem very disorientated, you don't know what's going on, well, get used to it, it's my channel. And I'm going to be creating a video today about sketchy little nuggets of advice that I've learned whilst being a broke uni student. And if you're interested in this type of stuff, as well as the chaos, then just make sure to keep watching. First piece of advice, don't listen to people on the fucking internet. Now, this is kind of ironic because I'm someone on the internet. I know, this is self-induced, self-inflicted. People nowadays more and more have this tendency to regurgitate things from others online. So half the time we're carbon copies of each other. Half the time the advice that we so very much preach to others is not things that we've learnt in as much, but things that we've acquired from other people who have in fact learned that. And can get quite noisy when you have all these external opinions impacting the way that you look at the world, influencing the way that you look at the world, and everyone is so very different. Now, social media is infamous for glorifying and romanticizing these aspects of life.
Initially, I think it's a God-given desire to want to be attracted to your spouse.
Would you genuinely consider a throuple?
Bought flowers for myself no matter what. No matter how poor I was, I had these.
Second habit that will make you a genius is watching podcasts and videos. But I'm not talking about watching pointless cat videos or podcasts that lower your IQ in life. So some podcasts that I would recommend.
You don't need to fucking listen. And when you have things like trends that come in and out, you're pretty much thrown against the fire and you're expected to kind of find your way through. You don't have to subscribe to ideologies that don't serve you. This is your life. You also got to think about it this way. People want attention. So when they find the next trendy thing to talk about, they want your engagement, because your engagement means their advancement. Take everything with a grain of salt, but at the same time, when you do find something that connects and resonates with you inherently, learn from it. Acquire that wisdom. But other than that, don't cloud your mind with things that you don't inherently subscribe to. Now, my next tip pretty much coincides with my first one, but everyone is trying to sell you something. When you learn that about the world, your brain goes. So I just wanted to expand on that point just a little bit more, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is that everything is designed to curate and sell you a perfect life. And I guess maybe because people prioritize success, money, fame, and power, all of these things lead into that and find ways to seduce you into that. So, you know, get rich quick schemes, which pretty much Ponzi schemes, they're all cheap ways at trying to say the same thing, when in reality the common denominator between all of those and all that you really need in your toolkit is mental agility, grit, and resilience. You could be working at a fast food restaurant and there is nothing wrong with that, provided you're severely intentional about why you're working there. You don't need to be seduced by these schemes that make it out that you need them in order to get to where you're going in life. You need yourself. Funnily enough, it was my Macca's job that helped buy me my first home. So it's completely possible. And I think I'm very passionate about the fact that you can get to where you want to be with the resources that you have right now. Don't get seduced by easy ways of earning things, because nothing good is earned quickly. Love earned quickly ends in flames. Success earned quickly means you don't have the tools, the skills to acquire and maintain that success. And I think that just falls down to our culture. Our culture doesn't like to prioritize effort, relentlessness, and work ethic. Rather, they like to just quickly acquire things, you know. Any means to get that, people will take. Even in love, someone can tell you that they're the greatest partner of all time. And it's all about ascertaining and understanding that no one can really truly sell you something that you can't acquire or you can't earn yourself. Here we are critical thinkers. We use our brains, you know. Sometimes our hearts, but mostly our brains. Now, my next one is be disgustingly intentional. I'll use my example of the Eras tour that I was fortunate enough to go to at the start of the year. I went to Melbourne night 3. Last year, when if you were there, you were there, the whole Ticketek lounge, I think I have PTSD from it, but pretty much I was on 5 devices. I think I did end up getting in at one point. What happened was, because I had like fucking 5 devices, I didn't know that I got it. And anyhow, I tried and refreshed after my timeout and I lost my chance at buying a ticket. So ever since then, I was relentlessly trying to find ticket, hope that I won't get scammed. And anyhow, never got any luck. I had a friend's party night 1 in the city and I went to her party, and then obviously because Melbourne was alive with Taylor Swift. Afterwards, I had gone to the MCG and I was hanging about like a loser just outside the stadium. And anyhow, I sang outside with everyone. I made some really cool friends and we all were just like guessing surprise songs and everything. Flash forward, I'm just like, I really need to fucking get into this place. I don't know how I'm gonna get into the MCG, but I need to. So I had gone the next day, driven into the city. Here I am just walking around the MCG. I went to the ticketing booth at 8 o'clock in the morning, and no sign of a ticket. I could not get me one ticket. I was on Facebook simultaneously as well. I was scrolling through these guys and I'm just like trying to buy a ticket here, there and everywhere. And I was like weaning off these scammers. I was doing really good for someone who never had bought tickets for a concert or with this much demand, should I say. And anyhow, night 2, I'm getting really fucking sad because I'm like, I really want to be in there. Night 3, I'm just like, if I don't make it, I don't know how I'm going to be. I do not know how I'm going to be. I was a fan of Cruel Summer, but like, I got some really bad footage of Cruel Summer.
I cry like a baby coming home from the bar. Oh! Such a good song.
So I'm like, I didn't even care about the rest of the concert. I did. I just needed to see Cruel Summer. Please let me see Cruel Summer. So I'm like, my heart is shattering, it's dying, it's deteriorating. This is the last chance I may ever get to hear this song live. And then literally 30-40 minutes before the gates start opening, this lady was willing to sell me her ticket. She was looking for someone to buy and it was legit. I'm not gonna tell you how much I spent on it. And anyhow, the feeling I had when I got in there, I think I got PTSD because I don't remember it. All I remember was me just like, my mind was like, it was blown in Cruel Summer. And I think after that, I just blanked out. Anyhow, my point being was, I was disgustingly intentional. Like, I was gonna get in those gates. I don't know motherfucking how, but I was gonna go there. Whether I jumped the gate myself, try and bypass through security, I was gonna get there. And for some unknown reason, maybe that's manifestation, maybe that's talking it into reality, but I did not know at night 1 whether I'd ever get in there. Or it was like all odds were against me, I felt. But I don't know how, but I got in there the last night. Now my next tip is add more to your plate than you're capable of handling. Get familiar with growing pains. Get familiar with feeling a little burnt out, provided you're not severely overextending yourself. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different set of cards, and here everyone has a different capacity. But this is what I'm trying to get at. Capacity is important. How do you build capacity? By doing more. How can you grow more? How can you be accustomed to challenge? By letting that compound over time. allowing yourself to feel just a little bit more burnt out each time until you get familiar with that, adding more to your plate. But if you're operating on 80% capacity, use that chance, because you've only got this energy for so long. You've only got this one-track mindedness for so long. You only have, at this point in your life, this set of cards, this set of responsibilities, this set of demands on you. So it's like, if you can afford to, why not? But it's like, throw yourself at challenge. Be a little bit more like astute and apt to take on the challenge, as opposed to trying to minimize the challenges you face. Because once you get familiar with challenge, when it inevitably rocks up at your door, you're not so resistant of it. You find that, like, hey, let's just get through it, let's work through it. And I think this leads on to my last piece of advice, is to don't stop fucking creating. I have no idea how creating became a form of dependence for me, but it has almost become like a lifeline. It is catharsis at its finest. Life becomes bigger than you, and bigger than the pain or the lessons you've experienced when you can make something out of it. And that makes life a little more worth living. Of all the things that I've written about, especially in terms of my songs, I love the way that I've kind of memorialized my pain or memorialized my lessons, because you get to get a snapshot into how you felt at a certain time. You got to feel how the day was, how you felt, whether it was pure sadness, whether it was glimmering hope. You get to get a snapshot into certain time shots of your life, and you get to kind of see how you operated, how you thought, how you believed or perceived things to be, like perceived love, for example. And I think that's such a beautiful thing to do, because at that point, art is like sustenance. Like, you need it to keep you moving forward. And when you can learn to create something out of what you've been through, then it's almost like that tragedy transposes into something beautiful. When you can learn to turn it into something so poetic, something so beautiful, then you've overcome it, you've surpassed it, But thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for following me. Like, I love you. But make sure, you subscribe, make sure you follow my Instagram, I'll link it here, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.